All right, guys, so after an amazing few days at the first annual LPT Realty Conference in St. Petersburg, we've got a lot of updates that we want to roll out. And so this is going to be a long video. I want to preface that ahead of time. We're going to go through all of the main highlights of the things that got rolled out at this conference. I promise you it's all going to be value added. To make it a little bit easier for you guys, we're going to put down in the timeline below, we're going to put chapter markers so that you can jump to a part that you want to go to. We'll probably also break this video up into individual videos so you can just consume the ones you want to go to. But we want to bring as much value as you can. Whether you're an LPT agent who wasn't able to go to the event and you want to catch up on what you missed, whether you were there and you just forgot how much got rolled out, or whether you're considering partnering with LPT Realty and you want to see a little bit more about our vision, our culture, and some of the new things we've got going on at the brokerage, this video is going to have all of that. My name is Mark Ammons.
And my name is AJ Ackerman.
And we're Elevated Agents. Woo! All right, guys, so the first thing that we want to show you all is our current agent count that we had at the very end. So they saved the best for last. And we knew we were probably somewhere around 3,000 agents when we went into this. We had no idea. Again, we just clipped our very first year here at LPT Realty. And so it was exciting to see, we had already known that we had exceeded 2,500 agents, was when we looked at some of the bigger brokerages out there. We had EXP that took 7 years to do that. KW took 12. We knew we had already surpassed that. And so we're going to learn the number right here with you guys. So the way I want to structure this as well, just so you know, we're going to kind of introduce, we're going to try to let the actual speakers at the conference do most of the speaking. AJ and I want to kind of introduce the clips. We're going to let you see what we saw, and then we'll do a quick little reaction and try to keep this thing moving as much as possible to make the most of your time. So let's get kicked off with how many agents we've got at LPT Realty.
Woo, let's do it.
So who's ready to see this number? Come on, you can be louder than that. Who's ready to see this number? It's not going to be 1,200, I promise you that. 34. Here we go. Congratulations, LPT Realty. 3,194 members proud as of today.
Holy cow, was that 31,270? No, I'm just kidding. Well, I won't be kidding one day. How exciting is that? We're just open in just a little over a year, almost 3,200 agents, which puts us, as far as I know, as the fastest scaling real estate company ever. So I'm excited to be on that track. And you know one of the things I remember, and I don't know if it's in one of these clips or not, is I remember him also saying, well, it's not going to count all the people that signed up from the conference as well.
Yeah,
so
we added a lot during the conference. So we have no idea what the current number is today, but as of the day of the conference, it was almost 3,200. Pretty crazy.
Super exciting. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm excited to see where we are in 12 months from now, and I know we're just going to keep on growing.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of what we learned here.
So, Mark, I'm super excited about this next section because this is one of the things that I'm most excited about at the company. Robert Palmer is going to be introducing a new model, another extra layer of how do we help agents. And this is something that there is no other brokerage actually doing. It's called the Nexus. And we're going to go ahead and let Mr. Palmer talk all about what the Nexus is, why it's important, and what kind of the vision is for it.
All right, welcome guys. So we're going to kick around this new concept of what we're calling a Nexus here at LPT Realty, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. It's a new format we're trying here where we're going to share the information using the presentation and then go right into discussion with our panelists. So as we looked at building this brokerage, and we looked at the history of kind of where the brokerage model had come from, where the brokerage model was going. If we look back into the time of dinosaurs, it was pretty much just the franchisor. We got, Mr. Moneybag guy up there at the top. You had your brick and mortar brokerages, and then you had agents. And that was how real estate was done for a very long time. And then we had an evolution where teams started to form. There were needs where certain brokerages were not giving agents enough support, not able to generate enough leads for those agents, maybe not able to do the right kind of training. And so teams formed. Team leaders realized that they could fulfill some of these gaps of what the brokerage was offering, and they could form real estate teams and help the agents on their team be more successful. And then we had another big evolution, which was the move to the cloud brokerage. And so now the franchisor goes away, the cloud brokerage kind of moves up into that role, and then we still have our agents and team leaders, but it creates this hole. And that hole is what we've been very focused on filling. Because the further away the brokerage is from the agents and the team leaders, the less cohesive the culture can be, the less we can support our agents. And we want to work really hard and do as much as we can as a brokerage, but we also realize that there is a hole formed when you move into the cloud brokerage model. And so over time, people have tried to fill this gap with different things. Expansion teams, I believe, were an attempt to fill this gap. Expansion hubs. At some companies, the downline becomes what tries to fill this gap. But none of those really worked that well. They all showed weaknesses as they grew and evolved. The downline has problems because once you're in one, you're stuck. And if that's the only place you can get culture and support and have connected fabric, it doesn't work out very well, and we recognize that early on. Two interesting companies have really appeared in the last couple of years. Both came from mega teams. Both came out of Keller Williams, and that's Livian and Place. All right, so Place is owned by Ben Kinney, and Goldman Sachs invested $100 million to help him take that to the next level. And then Livian is owned by Gary Keller, a large chunk of it, we don't know exactly how much, in order to help Adam Hergenrother turn his big mega team into Livian. But the idea is they're trying to help fill this gap. They want to provide services to teams, they want to provide services to agents, they want to take some of that layer that's being created as brokerages do less and move further away from the agents. They want to be that fabric to try to connect. And we like that model. I think that really is the future. I think this is something that does become necessary because we understand the limitations that we do have as a cloud brokerage. We want to be the best at what we can be, but we have to recognize what our limitations are. All right? And so this is where the LPT Nexus comes into play. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. And so as we think about the LPT Nexus, I think about three kind of general ways that an organization can fill that hole. And that's what we call a team services nexus. This is like your Place and your Livian, where a group of teams come together under a nexus, and maybe that nexus provides centralized ISA services. Maybe it provides centralized lead generation. Maybe it provides centralized P&L and accountability. Maybe it helps with operations management. But again, how do you take a real estate team who's maybe struggling to get to that next level of success and give them the support they need to grow and double or triple their business? And once upon a time, that was the role of the brokerage. And while there are things we can do to help as a cloud brokerage, we can't be nearly as hands-on as the role that one of these nexus can play. There's a coaching nexus, which is more of a relationship between individual agents and a coach. And the idea is instead of paying for coaching fees monthly or upfront, you pay per transaction. It's a way to move coaching to success-based pricing. A coach forms a nexus, agents can join that nexus, and as they close transactions, the coach has a split. He doesn't have to charge, or she doesn't have to charge up front, or charge monthly. And then finally, the brick and mortar nexus. All right, this is the big one. We as a cloud brokerage don't have locations. We've got some hubs here and there, but we see an opportunity for entrepreneurs within our ecosystem, agents like yourselves, to create office space opportunities for agents, and then charge them something. Maybe it's a monthly fee. Maybe it's a piece of every transaction. And this is less organized than a real estate team, right? These people are not taking on your branding. You're not providing all their leads. This is a looser type of organization meant to put that fabric back in place that was lost as the cloud brokerage moved further away from its agents. So as we think about this, there are people doing this right now. You can go it alone. You can promote using your own resources. You can use referral fee agreements to have teams pay you money and try to track all that, create and manage registration. Difficult to scale. And you can do that right now under our current compensation model as a rev share partner. However, with the new LPT Nexus, we will help promote the Nexus. We're going to have a marketplace where people looking for these services can find you. Where an agent out there says, I want helping take my team to the next level. Where do I find someone to help me do that? Or an agent says, I need coaching, I need help, but I need it to be on success-based pricing. I can't afford to pay up front. Where do I find that in the Nexus? So we'll help promote these Nexuses. We'll handle the payment collection. This is a big one. If the Nexus is going to charge a monthly fee or charge a split at closing, LPT will take the burden on of doing all of that payment collection and getting the money put back out to the Nexus owners. We provide the membership and transaction tracking inside of Connect. We provide the tools to help you scale, and then there will be an additional fee for an LPT Nexus beyond the standard cap. And so this is how we think about this model, and this is how we at LPT are trying to move things forward to create more opportunities for our agents who are looking for another layer to connect with. They're looking for the types of support that a Nexus can provide. And then we're also looking to provide opportunity for our agents who want to create their own Nexus. You know, they want to build their own version of Place, their own version of Livian, and they're going to be able to do it right here inside of the LPT framework through our Nexus model. So this is exciting. To me, this is a big step forward for us in continuing to move the model forward. And I'm also proud to announce that we're welcoming, I'm proud to announce this first, I messed up my slides. We're actually going to have a Shark Tank style competition where just like Goldman Sachs invested $100 million in Place, I don't think I'll quite invest $100 million, but I am willing to make a sizable investment in the right Nexus inside of LPT that I believe has potential to grow. And so if you're looking to build a Nexus, and you'd like to have me be an investor in that Nexus, you can participate in our Shark Tank style competition, where we're going to help you refine and improve that Nexus and get it ready to help other agents. And then for the winner of that, I will make an investment to help them grow their Nexus and go to the next level. Again, I'm very committed to this model. I think this is important to move the brokerage forward. I think it's important to move the entrepreneurs within our brokerage forward, and a way to create tighter relationships to create more success for our agents inside of LPT Realty.
Dude, the Nexus is so cool. I'm so excited. This is probably the one thing I'm the most excited about LPT Realty. I remember sitting down at that dinner with Robert Palmer, and we were fortunate enough to stay late and have a dessert drink or beverage. And we were sharing these ideas months and months ago about the concept of this. It wasn't called the Nexus then. It was the very beginning stage. And I just think it's absolutely incredible, because this has to do with the brokerage for life aspect, the culture, the ability for agents to build a business that they want. Like, that's one thing I learned early on in real estate, was that we are all entrepreneurs, and there are so many opportunities to build businesses. My passion, if you don't know, is coaching and training. And so I look at the Nexus as a place, as a marketplace, an opportunity for people to go above and beyond their real estate sales and to really help other agents and help other people. And you're not tied to one company. You're not tied to one downline. You're not tied to one team. This is an open format that will be open to anybody at any company to participate and to be able to go and say, okay, here's all the options. So, there's a lot of options out there for coaching, as an example, and you all know the names. But the thing is that that's one option. People outgrow that one option. People will sign up for something and they didn't get what they actually liked. Here, you can actually walk around as a consumer and decide, hey, I really want to work with AJ. Hey, I really want to work with Mark. Hey, I really want to work with so-and-so. And then when that relationship is over, if you outgrow it, you have these other options. But I'm so excited to see where this goes that I just can barely even contain myself.
Yeah. One of the things that really excites me is people who get into real estate and want to become real estate agents have that entrepreneurial mindset. You are an entrepreneur. If you are a real estate agent, you own your own business. And I know that if you're like me and you're like AJ, your interests likely go beyond just real estate. AJ and I each have other business ventures that we're into and that we're excited about. And so we know that that's a common trend with agents, where selling real estate is a part of what you enjoy doing, but you probably have a bigger entrepreneurial spirit that you want to spread. And unfortunately, at most real estate brokerages, the only way that they can really support you is through that real estate channel, without the ability to support some of the other entrepreneurial aspirations that you may have. And what I like about what Robert has done here is, again, creating that brokerage for life, where we've talked in the past about what do you want to do or what are you going to do when you decide you want to start selling less real estate in the future as well. And this is another path for you entrepreneurial-minded individuals out there who want to partner with a brokerage that's going to give you additional ways to earn income that is not only going to support you, but support the agents around you, support the agents in your brokerage that can help them grow, make the real estate brokerage more valuable. So I love it. I just really think it's another way of supporting agents in their lifestyle and everything that they want to do, even outside of real estate. So it's very, very exciting for me.
Yeah, one other thing is cool. So as we grow internationally, internationally over the years, I don't necessarily prefer to work with brand new agents, but if I know there's a nexus, if I know there's a group that really knows how to help a new agent succeed quickly, I can just refer them to there, right? It doesn't hurt me by referring them somewhere else. It helps everybody. It helps the valuation of the company. It helps everybody do more real estate. And that's the whole point, is how do we help people sell more real estate and give more people options to put them in a partnership, put them in a place that they can succeed at the highest level that's based for them.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next one. What do we got next?
I'm excited. All right, so next we want to talk about how the Nexus works to monetize the gap. There's a concept that we talk about, monetizing the gap, where we have different comp plans. One that's a very, very low cost of entry for agents so that they have additional dollars to be able to reinvest. So Robert's going to talk about his vision for how agents who are, a part of the LPT Realty model that come in at that business builder and have these extra, $10,000 in their business to invest, how they can use that to help grow their business in the Nexus.
Woo, yes.
And at the end of the day, what are the reasons agents leave a brokerage? I'm very, very attuned to, we want to grow, we want to recruit, but we want to keep our agents. We want them to be part of our family. We want them to stay with LPT. And so, we would hear from agents, well, I didn't have enough support. I didn't have enough help. I didn't have someone to help me learn. And what I realized is, no matter how good our support is, no matter how good any brokerage's support is, sometimes an agent needs more of that one-on-one relationship. They need someone to really take them under their wing and help them grow. And sure, a team is one way to do that. You can do that by joining a team, but some agents don't want to lose their identity. They want to stay solo. They want to have more flexibility. Oftentimes teams will have requirements to maybe be full-time. And there's an agent who needs to be part-time right now because they have to put food on the table for their family and they need health insurance and they have to work this other job. And so what we realized at LPT is, because we charge less, because we have this option where agents can be a business builder and have a $5,000 cap, and particularly agents who are not interested in recruiting. We want the people who do want to sell real estate. That's perfectly great. We want more of those in the brokerage than recruiters because we're a real estate company. And so for an agent who's only going to pay us $5,000 a year to cap, if they were at other brokerages, they would pay $16,000 or $20,000. You'd add in franchise fees. And so what we recognized is there's an opportunity for that gap to help provide additional services. So if I'm the agent who was at a brokerage where I was previously paying $18,000 a year, and now when I'm a capper and I come to LPT, and now I'm only going to pay $5,000 a year for my cap. Or maybe I was at a brokerage and I wasn't a capper. So on my first transaction of every year where I made $10,000, $2,500 of it went out the door to the brokerage, and I couldn't afford to get any help on top of that. Where now at LPT, they're only paying $500 a file. So there's available dollars there. And so the idea was, we give an agent a way to invest those dollars. The dollars they saved by moving to LPT from other models, they can invest those dollars in getting additional help. They can invest those dollars in getting one-on-one training, one-on-one mentorship, access to a state-of-the-art brick-and-mortar facility like G-World talked about, access to someone who will always pick up the phone like Matt talked about, access to a team who's part of a bigger network of teams. And so that idea of the gap, the idea that we as a brokerage left that money on the table so that agents could make a choice. Keep it for themselves and go figure out where to invest it, or now they can use those same dollars to join a Nexus potentially and get the kind of support and one-on-one training they need.
So I would guess that a lot of people ask, well, how can you do all of this? Or what's it going to cost? And what are the splits going to be? Well, that's the beautiful thing about LPT, is the options, and monetizing the gap is the concept of why there are two commission structures. And there's actually more, but those are the two main commission structures. That flat fee model with a $5,000 cap, for anybody who's doing 12, 24 deals, that gives them more money to invest in however they want. And for any of you who have never built a real estate business, coaching is a big part of that. Putting yourself in a position to help you level up, right? Elevated agents, we educate, we elevate, and we inspire. And leveling up requires somebody to help you level up. And when you have more money in your pocket, it gives you more options to do it. And that's where monetizing the gap and where the Nexus, it just totally makes sense to me. So the next part about the Nexus is how he talks about the value of teams in the Nexus and how there's no restrictions for teams to be able to grow. There's no glass ceiling, so they can actually take their business to the next level. And instead of people outgrowing their team and having to leave because of restrictions, guess what? At LPT Realty, they have options. They have the ability to grow without having to leave.
Make sure that no one ever outgrows LPT Realty. How do we make sure on the other side that no one's business is ever not large enough for LPT Realty? Whether it's someone part-time closing one transaction a year, all the way up to someone who wants to build a massive conglomerate of teams, we want to make sure that LPT Realty can truly be that brokerage for life. Because one of the problems we see in our industry is this restriction or this level where people, they hit a certain level of success and they can no longer stay a part of your team or of your brokerage, and they have to make a move. If you look at a lot of other brokerages, in order for a team to have partial caps, a half cap or a quarter cap, they limit how much commission those team members can make. And they do it so that everyone doesn't just join a team to get a lower cap. But what they inadvertently create is a situation where if a team member becomes too successful, they have to leave the model of the team because the brokerage has put restrictions on that team around the maximum commission they can pay an agent. We don't have those restrictions at LPT. We're trying to do the exact opposite. We want to make sure that every agent can find their right place within this brokerage, whether that's as a solo agent, a member of a team, now as a member of a Nexus, or as a Nexus leader. And it's always about agent choice. That is the most important thing to me as the CEO of LPT Realty. How do I create the absolute maximum amount of agent choice for each and every one of you so that you can continue to guide your career without ever outgrowing LPT Realty and without ever having to leave this family? This is again that next evolution forward. One more way that agents can plug in, one more way that entrepreneurs can come here and grow. Someone who's running a mega team in another brokerage. Well, if they don't have this type of fabric to build a Nexus, they've reached the glass ceiling. That's kind of where Keegan was with his prior brokerage. But coming here and being able to see a next level. As an entrepreneur, there's something exciting about knowing you have the ability to go to the next level. You have the ability to step up. And where once upon a time, people, I think, kind of viewed that as like owning their own brokerage. And what we've realized is that owning your own brokerage can actually be a step backwards. All of a sudden, the extra jobs you take on for compliance and cost of E&O and all these extra responsibilities that can disrupt your day and prevent you from focusing on what you do best can actually set entrepreneurs backwards. And so we wanted to build this network, this layer of brokerage called LPT, where other entrepreneurs' business models, no matter how big or how small, can be bolted onto our platform to be more successful. And I think that flexibility and that attitude and that idea of what we build here is why we've grown so quickly. Why we've grown to 3,000 agents in just 12 months. Why we are the fastest growing brokerage that anyone out there that I've been able to talk to can track. It's been a really amazing journey, and it stays anchored in agent choice.
Wow. So one of the things that I really like about that is, number one, just the way that we're structured here at LPT Realty, where we don't put these artificial restrictions on team leaders, I think is a benefit of the brokerage in general. But with the Nexus, we've really taken that to another level where we've opened up opportunities for, again, agents who like the idea of the benefits they get from a team, but still want to maintain their identity as a solo agent. And now by opening up additional opportunities for either someone who wants to be on a team or someone who wants to be a solo agent or an entrepreneur who wants to start a Nexus, I think agent choice and what Robert talked about with just giving agents more choice and that being one of his main goals at LPT Realty, for me, is one of the amazing things. I think that's really reflected in his vision of the Nexus and breaking down a lot of the traditional structures that we've seen at real estate brokerages that limit agents, that force agents to outgrow teams and outgrow brokerages. And again, I think all this really just ties into being a brokerage for life by giving agents more choice and more options in how they run their business.
Yeah, and I know we haven't talked about it yet, but this is why team leaders and mega teams and even small brokerages are going to consider this move, because they're able to focus on the things that they're truly passionate about and excited about, and they don't have to worry about the golden handcuffs, so to speak. So I'm excited for us to continue down this journey. Awesome.
All right, guys, so the next thing we want to talk about is the vision for using the Nexus to break down a lot of the traditional downlines, structures, and silos that can build up in organizations, particularly those that have a rev share model where, you know, you're incentivized to keep people within your downline and within your revenue share structure. And we see the Nexus as an opportunity to really break that down and actually interweave the connections that we have. So Robert's going to talk a little bit more about how he envisions the Nexus solving a problem that has been a problem at some other brokerages that have a similar structure.
Right, usually in a brokerage like this, where you have the multi-level marketing components, you have the rev share, the recruiting, you end up with these silos where the downlines, well, you're not in my downline, so you can't come to my mastermind. You're not in my downline, so you can't use this office space over here. You can only use that over there. And it was really important to me that that didn't become part of our culture. And so, we had a meeting, it's probably 3 or 4 months ago at this point, with our 3 biggest organizations at the time. And said, guys, I really want you to make it super clear to the rest of our family that anyone is welcome to join you. That Freedom Organization and Limitless Agent and Level Up are all open to any LPT agent, no matter who their sponsor is, right? And that was a big push. And the interesting thing was there was no hesitation. And again, we had these conversations from the jump. I had never been quite so clear to say, hey, I want you to go really shout it from the rooftops, but we had always talked about not having, those restrictions and those clicks and having the downline create division inside of the brokerage. And so they went and had a Zoom together and said, hey, this is who we are. Anyone can join. And the only brokerage I know of that has something like that, where literally big organizations, and those organizations are being funded by rev share they're earning from their downlines, but then they're turning around and sharing their knowledge and their culture and everything they have with the entire brokerage. And I just think about how amazing that is. And to me, that's a huge part of the culture we're building. And now the Nexus is just one more way to build that culture, because you want your Nexus to cross downlines. I believe you want your team to cross downlines. Again, other brokerages, they may say, well, hey, if you're not in my downline, you can't be on my real estate team. I'm pretty good at math, so it makes sense to me. I'd much rather have a team member, that I'm on a split with, where we're making money together than making a little bit of money in rev share. The math makes sense. And think about how much easier it is. We're going to talk about this in tomorrow morning's growth panel. It's much easier to recruit someone to join your team if they're already in the brokerage. It's much easier to recruit someone to join your Nexus if they're already in the brokerage. And so this idea of trying to keep it within the downline makes no sense to me. And I've continued to say that as we grow this business, and I love that it's taken hold of our culture, because we have so many teams now where there are team members from all different downlines. We have teams made up of partners from different downlines now. We will see Nexuses built. And the more ways that our fabric as a company interweaves, the more ways that we can intersect with each other through teams and Nexuses, the more likely we are to all succeed and win together. And that's what this thing is all about.
Man, it just keeps getting better and better. What I love is that there is a true energy of collaboration. Now here's one thing we know. 3,000 agents, 100,000 agents. There are going to be some people you want to work with and some people you don't. But the really cool thing is that the Nexus and honestly the vision of Robert, setting the standard up front that he wants a free open market, the opportunity for all of us to win together. That's what he said, win together. And that's how you truly win together, is when you have these options where people can go and listen. I don't want to work with everyone, but I want everyone to win. And if I think LPT is the best company out there for real estate for anyone to win at any level with any personality, I want them to come join and benefit from the fruits of that, whether they work with me or not. And the fact that all of these downlines are open to anybody is absolutely a beautiful thing. And I'm glad they're setting the standard now for that.
Yeah. One of the things that I think people have actually criticized LPT Realty about, an approach that we have taken, is the fact that as agents, when we are trying to attract someone to the brokerage, we are not able to offer them anything of value for naming us as their sponsor. And so there's other brokerages out there that do not have this restriction. And unfortunately, what that leads to is sort of an unlevel playing field where the agents who have the biggest downlines and the most revenue share coming in have the most resources at their disposal, which they can use to, I hate to say buy agents, but they can provide enough stuff for free that it's compelling to name that person as their sponsor in lieu of the person who may have actually introduced that model to the agent. And that really is kind of the intent behind sponsoring agent into the brokerage, is who inspired you to join the brokerage, not who can offer you the most free stuff. And so that's a stance that we've taken at LPT Realty, that we don't want to create this unlevel playing field where whoever can offer the most free stuff gets the most agents. We want the agents who inspired you to join the brokerage to be the ones that you name as your sponsor, and then create a level playing field within the brokerage to where you're not limited by the downline that you're a part of, by this silo that you happen to be a part of. And if you join the wrong downline or if you're in the wrong silo, you just don't get access to all this other stuff. And that's not the culture that we're trying to create here at LPT Realty. So for me, that's just absolutely huge, and really maintaining the culture and seeing the leadership of the company and the leadership of the biggest attractors right now all being on board with that, I just think is awesome.
Yeah, you know what, Matt, one of the panelists, he has a tattoo. It says "No agent left behind," and that is a perfect version of this, because I know that there was times where, I loved the people that I worked with at my last brokerage, but there was definitely other opportunities. I was like, man, I wish I could go check out this group, or I wish I could check out that group. And a lot of times I felt like I couldn't. And I know a lot of agents have been left behind, right? They get attracted to a company and then they don't get the help and the support. And so we tell people, plug into the different groups, plug into LPT and find your home, find your place, whether it's with Elevated Agents or someone else. I don't care. I want you to win. And if we can be a part of helping you win, then that's awesome. And I love the idea of no agent left behind.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so the next few videos, one thing we do know about Mr. Robert Palmer is that he is a marketing guy. That's how he created a $1 billion mortgage company, is through his ability to market. And over the years, his connections for marketing is huge. Radio, advertising, print, iHeartRadio, like literally he has relationships with all these companies. And so over the next few videos, not only are we going to hear from some of his connections, his direct connections from the company, but also we're going to hear what some of his marketing ideas are happening right now in beta testing and what's coming up near in the future. And, listen, real estate's about marketing. It's about lead generation. The number one job of a real estate agent is marketing. And so what if your brokerage was actually creating leads that were qualified, that were warm to help you out? This is another one of those really exciting things. In the next few videos is going to talk about what's happening now and in the future.
All right, so marketing. I'm a marketing guy. This is really what I built a lot of my career on. Most of my companies are based on it. And we are unique at LPT Realty in the fact that we have this whole marketing goal and marketing group that we all own together. You, our shareholders, our agents, homevalue.com. And our goal to build the most valuable real estate company in the world, not just the largest, the most valuable. It's important for us to disrupt the disruptors. We have to play in that marketing space. We have to make Home Value a household name for consumers. And that's what this panel is all about. I want to have a little honest conversation. I want to get y'all's take as the experts on what we're doing at Home Value, and particularly with our snarky friend, Larry the Bird, who often gets confused with being a duck. So I'm going to play a couple of Larry commercials for us here, and then we're going to have a discussion about it.
Did you know that a homevalue.com local expert could show you a customized detailed plan to sell your home for the most amount of money and the least amount of time? You didn't know that, did you? You're welcome.
Homevalue.com.
Hey, what you looking at? If you must know, I'm selling my burger. So I went to homevalue.com. They sent me this fully customized marketing plan to download. They're going to canvass my neighborhood with flyers and door hangers. They're going to send out just listed postcards all over the area, complete with a digital marketing campaign. I mean, if you're selling your home, this is pretty much a no-brainer.
That's cool. I'm watching kitten videos. That's cute.
Hey man, can you kind of like move over that way?
Homevalue.com. Alright guys, reactions to our lovable spokesperson, Larry. Hartley, we'll start with you.
Well, what I love about this is people's attention is so distracted right now. You've got to entertain and hook them quickly. I think that what the average attention span for somebody is around 6 seconds right now, and a goldfish is 8 seconds.
We are slipping, aren't we?
So you got to grab people at the very first second in order to keep them, or else they're going to get distracted, whether they're on multiple screens or something going on in their lives. So what I like about this is you are instantly attached to this. You want to know what's going to happen next. And I think you close with really good audio and plug, so you frame it well. I think it's one of those that actually is entertaining, educational, and drives action versus something that you passively go, what was that for? So that's my first take on it.
And iHeart did make that amazing audio for us at the end there, the little home value jingles. Thank you for that, sir.
Look, a lot of successful brands are built on personality, and we have one sitting on the stage here whose entire success is built on his personal personality. I think what you've been able to do here is create personality through characters, and I think they're fun and engaging. One of the things about the beauty of television is it does allow for an emotional engagement with what people see on TV, and I think the beauty is characters like that will stop kids in the family room, and they'll think it's a cartoon, right? And so suddenly all activity will stop in a room as a kid focuses in on that, which then means the adult who's caring for them is probably then engaging and hearing the message for the first time, because they didn't hear the last 20 commercials because the kids were screaming, right? So I do think that this personality will bring out the opportunity to have the fun and the seriousness of the message, but also really create a engaged brand for you.
And it was important to me, obviously I was the brand of RP Funding. That is how I created my wealth and my success. It was important to me here, one, that our agents can come first. And if we have a human spokesperson, I think that really gets watered down. It's hard to make you the star if I was the star or any other person was. And so by investing in building Larry and having our version of the Geico Lizard or the Aflac Duck, we're able to leave you out front and give you a fun little sidekick in Larry to help drive leads and help brand awareness for the home value part of our company. So,
As we all know, working in advertising and media for a very long time, scalable is a very important thing to be able to do. And when you've got all of our multimedias here sitting on the table, it's important to be able to have a message and have a brand that can be scaled to whether it's on a billboard, a radio spot, or a TV spot, and to have that same theme and recognizable kind of just image and messaging is very important and really hard to do in today's world. And so to be able to capture that, you're doing a really great job. And the beauty is, by the way, Bart Simpson hasn't aged a day in the 25 years he's been on the air. He still looks great.
Yeah, the biggest barrier to cutting new TV commercials for RP Funding is I have to shave. Really, I don't have to deal with that with Larry. He never grows the beard. The next thing we're going to talk about, and I mentioned this on Motivation Monday, today is kind of the grand unveiling, is something that's going to make all of you gentlemen a lot of money as we launch it, because I'm going to have to spend a lot of money to promote it. So I'm going to run us through the slide deck real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. So we're going to get in the world premiere of our new 35353 text brand. All right? So this is HomeValue.com's first move into buyer lead generation. And we've done seller lead generation, we're good at that. We can drive high quality listing appointments by offering home valuations from our local experts, all of you. By offering the active marketing plan, a way that sellers can see tangible things that you all do to sell their homes. Well, now we want to take that brand with new technology and aim it at buyer lead generation. All right? We made a decision not to go with the normal home search website. All right, we've given all of you access to an amazing IDX through Chime, so you can build your own home search. And then Zillow, who's going to be joining us, is the most visited real estate website on the planet. So they pretty much got that category wrapped up. So as a disruptor, I sit back and think, well, where can we go make a name for ourselves? Where is the blue ocean? Where is somewhere that we can go make a difference? And so as we looked at this and said, how do we approach home buyer leads through home value? We went and looked at the technology we have at Listing Power Tools. And what we know from Listing Power Tools is that a lot of times, home buyers, when they're sitting in front of a listing, will Google the address. Or they will go to Zillow before they will call the listing agent. All right? And then agents have tried other things, QR codes and domain names and things to try to disrupt that. What we've found from a whole lot of data and a whole lot of testing at Listing Power Tools is that our text capture technology does the best job of disrupting that pattern. We can drive more leads per listing. We can stop buyers on your listings from going to Google, from going other places, if they can send that text message with that simple code and get back the information they want. And we've been testing this now for 7 years at Listing Power Tools. This is actually the 7-year anniversary today of when I wrote the code for Listing Power Tools. And so we have all of this data on our ability to put a text number on a sign writer on your listings to drive more consumers to connect directly with you. So the idea was simple. What if we gave consumers a number that they could text no matter what listing they're sitting in front of? And that's what 35353 is. So how do we build this brand? How do we make consumers aware of it? This is a multimedia channel project. Luckily, I have all 3 channels sitting here on stage with us today. So we start with radio and a catchy jingle. Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353. Again, the handiwork of our friends at iHeartMedia. I've been sitting on this short code for like 7 years trying to figure out exactly when the right time to use it was, and here we are. So remember, we have to burn this into the consumer's brain before they're sitting in front of the home. Before they ever know they want to buy a house. There will be a whole generation of children 10 years from now who hum the 35353 jingle in their sleep, and when they're sitting in front of a listing one day, they are going to text us, I promise you. Then we're going to take it outdoor with billboards. You know, our lovable bird Larry, he's a great texter, even though he has feathers, and he can still get the 35353 in there. And then finally, with television. And so this is the world premiere of the first television commercial for 35353, and we also introduce a brand new bird to the flock.
Hey bros, you guys want to check out my band's new single?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Support local bands. Right, rock on.
Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353.
Fresh new sound. I can feel it in my soul. It's actually not that bad, and I like the message. You find a home you want to buy, get started with homevalue.com. It's as simple as texting 35353.
Groovy, my dude, you got it. I'm stoked to gain a new fan.
I wouldn't go that far. I do have one question. Where the heck did you find a working cassette like
Vintage broski, making a comeback.
Text 35353. Yeah, what do you think of that? So our birds, and our birds are they're our icon here. They're our spokesbird, and they are good at texting. So this is Wally. Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353. So Wally's interested in buying a home, but he needs a lot of bedrooms because he has 8 cats. Right, one of whom is named Dave Meowfuse. I think that's my favorite cat. But he loves them all equally. All right. Then our new bird, Kurt, he's the rocker. Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353. So, Kurt needs a big garage, because, shocker, he has a garage band. He needs a place to practice. Wally's a little more, Dean is a little more sophisticated bird. Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353. So Dean is texting in because he has an allergy to spruce pine. He needs to make sure this house won't turn his house green, or his tongue green. And then finally, everyone's favorite bird, Larry. Found a home you'd like to see, text 35353. And Larry just wants a community with a gate, so the other birds can't bother him anymore.
You guys think it's funny? It's not funny.
How many of you have that song stuck in your head already? Yes. That's kind of the point, right? Maybe we played it 7-8 times. Imagine when we start playing it 35 times a week on iHeart and putting it on billboards and running TV commercials all over the country. That's where we're taking this. We also bought 35353.com just so we would have the brand unity. It was surprisingly expensive for just numbers, but it is what it is. Had to buy it, had to have it, had to unite the brand. If you go there, it's just a simple video with Larry. That's up right now. And then finally, like everything we do, 35353 will include Agent Shield. So if it's one of your listings that that consumer is sitting in front of when they text us, that lead goes straight to you at no cost, whether you're part of our leads program or not. my original question. What if we gave consumers a number they could text and it didn't matter what listing they were in front of? IDX through Chime, and then we've also got our relationship with Zillow. Because remember, if we buy those Zillow leads, we can protect your listings. If we help you generate your own Chime lead, we can help you generate your own business. So we are approaching things differently here at LPT Realty each and every day. And so our next guests are from Zillow Group. We have the Director of Showing Time Plus, Joe Guetta, and TJ Galladay, who is the Senior Director of Broker Relations. Come on out, guys. All right, big applause. Welcome, guys. Joe, good to see you. TJ, good to see you. Have a seat, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to make sure that when you go on a listing presentation, no one can show up like you do. And that starts with what we're doing with Listing Power Tools. You saw the innovation we're doing with ABC Action News here in Tampa, which we're hoping to take nationwide, where you can list a home that'll appear on the local news station's website. And then to take that further by having this early look at Zillow's new product, where you can get a different type of photo, a different type of floor plan for your seller, and then through that actually give your seller more exposure through the Zillow platform, which remember is the largest, most visited real estate website in the galaxy. I'm going to continue to move this bar up, universe, as we continue to go here. And so, look, we've enjoyed. I talked about this on Motivation Monday. I was very against buying leads for a long time in my career. I felt like I had to generate them myself. I'm the TV and radio guy, I'm the billboard guy, I'm the direct mail guy. Why would I buy leads from someone else? And then, as we got into this venture of LPT, I said, wait a minute, why would I not buy leads from the most visited real estate website in the universe? Right? Someone is going to buy that lead. Someone is going to help that consumer find their house. I would much rather it be an LPT agent than anyone else. All right? And by stepping in front as a company and purchasing those zip codes, we can then put our Agent Shield program in place. So if a Zillow lead comes to us and it's on one of our LPT agents' listings, we route that lead directly to you at no cost. Right? So this to me made sense the more I dug into it. My initial reaction, Chris Doring talked about that this morning, not being closed-minded. And for me, closed-minded said, why would I give those guys money for their leads? I'll just generate my own. But then to finally open my mind and wake up and say, wait a minute, why wouldn't I do both? Why wouldn't I want all of those leads to be working with LPT Realty agents? Why wouldn't I want to be able to extend Agent Shield beyond just what we can do through TV and radio and billboards on what they've been able to do through the internet, through digital marketing, through web traffic? And then you take the partnership from there and you look at what we have through .loop, you look at these new products coming out through Showing Time Plus, and it just really excites me. And it excites me what a brokerage at our scale and as fast as we're growing and doing can benefit from by such a partnership. And so I know when we first called you guys to sign up for .loop, and I said, we're brand new brokerage. I think at the time we had 30 agents. We're going to need like 30 accounts. I said, but I'm going to need pricing for what happens when we get to 1,000 agents. And we're like, yeah, sure. We hear this all the time. Everybody calls in here saying we need 1,000 agents. And then guess what? 5 months later, we call back and say, hey, we're at that 1,000 agents. Where's that pricing? And so, Joe, you were kind of part of those conversations from the other side. If you can share any color anecdotally on your impression of our growth, and I guess any surprise at our growth since we've started this partnership.
Yeah, you guys are in the right place, don't you think? And when you walk into that listing appointment, you should confidently say, we're led by one of the best brokers in the country, one of the fastest growing brokers in the country, and we're partnered with Zillow in such a way that in the next 24 hours after I list your home, you're going to be on Zillow to see how many people have viewed and saved your home. Isn't that what everyone does? Yeah. They want to see how many people have viewed and saved their homes. Before I go into .loop, with the listing media services, by having the right tools in place, your dialogue with that consumer, need. They need to hear from you that you're going to do the things that most agents aren't even aware of. And by the way, a listing on Zillow, think about that, 250 million people coming to our site, unique visitors coming to our site each month. You want to say to that client, as your partner, when you choose us at LPT, because of our relationship with Zillow, here's what we know. We're going to do a 3D floor plan on your property. And with what makes that so important is that the consumers that are going to Zillow, they're saving those listings at a 98% click rate. And they're viewing those listings 78% more than the other listings. And by the way, I use one of the best transaction platforms in the country through .loop, so that everything that we do is going to be digitized and properly stored so that we got your signatures all in one place. And that the buyer agent and the seller agent are better to communicate. The systems that we have, the listing power tools, are going to be what excels your business. And by the way, I was having lunch with Robert and the team a few weeks ago, and we were talking about .loop. And within 24 hours, you all added another 1,000 seats to .loop. We don't see that kind of growth that quickly. And TG's been with Zillow for 8 years. I've been with 7 years. You guys are part of a rocket ship. You have a great leader, and I'm very excited and proud to be part of this partnership.
I am not going to ignore 300 million people visiting Zillow. And that really is what this is all about. We have to embrace it. We've got your back through Agent Shield in the areas where we're buying leads, but we want to embrace this because our sellers are going to Zillow. If a competitor comes in and says, hey, I can get your house to rank higher on Zillow, trust me, that means something to the seller. Whether we would want it to or not, it does. Right? And so as agents, we have to be smart, and we have to look at where the industry is going, and we have to move forward with the industry. And I'm excited about this partnership. We've had a lot of conversations. Protecting our agents is first and foremost, and then giving you guys the tools to go out there and compete and win on every single listing appointment you go on is what's most important here at LPT Realty. So, big round of applause.
So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed some of the updates about seeing some of the new stuff we've got going on the marketing front here at LPT Realty. And if you're an agent now, you can probably appreciate the fact that the best real estate agent is not always the one, and not usually the one, who wins the listings and who wins the clients. The best marketer is the agent who usually ends up getting the listings and ends up getting the clients. There's probably a number of agents that you have seen that have beaten you out on other listings and beaten you out with buyers that you know you're probably a better agent than, but they just did a better job of marketing. And so what we're trying to do here at LPT Realty is bring that level of marketing to all of our agents so that as a collective, we are the best marketers in the industry. And it's things like this, these proprietary and out-of-the-box thinking that is being led by Robert Palmer that's going to, I think, allow all of us to be the best marketers in the industry and ultimately win the most listings, win the most buyers.
Yeah, I think I want to talk something about supplemental. You know, what I love about the vision of this is, one, there's so many agents that are going out to third-party vendors for lead generation. And it's crazy. I mean, have you ever gotten a text that says, hey, do you want more leads?
5 times a day.
You know, so imagine having a quality lead generation system within your brokerage. There is an extra fee. We're not going to talk about that today. There's a referral fee for these particular leads. But imagine that your company's helping generate them. They're investing the time and energy, and they're warming them up. These are leads that they take directly, they qualify them, then they go into the pool of whatever agents qualify. As of today, and I know this for a fact because I just got done with a meeting, Robert Palmer is investing $500,000 a month right now in Zillow leads to help to the company. I mean, imagine that, $500,000 a month. I mean, that's insane. That's crazy. And imagine if this works, right? If this continues to grow, which I really believe it will, homevalue.com, Zillow. And then now we're talking about 39339. What is it?
35353.
35353. He's got it. You know, imagine having the opportunity to have supplemental business. So you don't just get leads because you're a real estate agent. You have to be an active agent. I believe the new qualification will be at least 5 closings once you join LPT. Again, that's as of today. But the idea is to supplement. If somebody's selling 12 homes a month, can the company help them generate an extra 5 more deals? I don't know about you, but 5 more deals could be an extra 30, 40, 50 grand a year. Like, that is huge. That's how the company grows. And I don't know if we're talking about stock today at all, but if the company earns more money, the value of the company goes up, and then all of our stock value goes up as well.
Yeah, and again, this is all part of making us the most valuable real estate company in the country. And so and like AJ said, this is supplemental. There are agents out there whose businesses are built on sphere of influence, on referrals, that will not need this. There are people who are great at generating their own leads through their own website, through their own blog, whatever it is that they're doing. But again, agent choice is one of the biggest things that Robert Palmer is focused on. And how do we give agents more choice in how they run and grow their business? And this is just another choice. This is something you can opt into, you can opt out of. Maybe there's a time when your business is slow that it would be nice to pick up some additional leads from the company that you would not ordinarily have. This can create that buffer for times when maybe your business just slows down and you say, hey, let me opt into some of the company leads, pay the referral fee. And it's a better way, I think, of going about buying leads in a sense than going to a lot of these third parties, because of the fact that when you're getting these leads, they're warm leads, they're ready for an appointment, they're ready to move forward. And so it allows you to spend more time focusing on qualified buyers who are ready to actually buy and sell real estate and not have to spend all your time nurturing the leads. We're going to handle that at the corporate level and then pass them on to you when they're ready.
Yeah, and you can actually opt into these as a team too. So if you have a team and you bring your team over and you want to opt in, you will get them as a team leader, and then you can distribute them to your team members. It's fascinating and amazing what they're building, what they're doing.
Yeah, really powerful stuff. And again, stuff that no other real estate brokerage out there is doing. And like we talked about before, particularly when it comes to buying, LPT Realty is the biggest buyer of Zillow leads in the entire country.
As of right now.
We buy more leads than anyone else in the entire country. And again, that's what's really cool about being part of this cloud-based brokerage is your local KW franchise cannot go spend $500,000 a month just to protect your one little area where you may have multiple franchises in your city. And by expanding at the rate we're expanding in and having the number of agents that we have that can support the volume of leads that are coming in, it makes this possible. So it's just very, very special and unique.
Let's go.
All right, guys. So the next thing that we want to show you all is something really, really exciting that we just learned about at this conference as well, in terms of some options that we're going to have here at LPT Realty in terms of what we use for CRM. So right now we're exclusively Chime, and we learned that we've got a fun little addition that we can take part in, and we're going to share that with you right now.
My mortgage company spent $150 million to generate mortgage leads from TV and radio, and all of those leads had to run through, you know what, a CRM. We don't actually call it that. In my world, we call it a lead management system. And then later, when that person becomes a customer, we call it a customer management system. But together, those make your CRM. When I launched my real estate team from 2018 to 2021 to be the testing ground for LPT and the testing ground for HomeValue.com, we did over $500 million in transactions during that period, all from our own lead generation. We weren't buying leads from these guys yet. All right? We were doing TV and radio and pay-per-click and SEO to drive people into our website. And so again, we had to put those into a system. And I wanted to have a system a little more like what I have on the mortgage side, that lead management system and that customer management system. And then personally, as Nick mentioned, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I like to code. And so I've written a lot of programs to mine the data out of all those databases so that we can analyze that CRM data, to have the business intelligence tools. And as I've gone through all of this, I wanted to share with you all how I think about CRM and how I think about lead management. And so I kind of break it into two different systems usually when I build one of these platforms. We have a lead management system, which is focused on being highly automated, right? This is where you're going to have a whole lot of leads, a lot that you'll never actually talk to. They need to be auto-nurtured, they need to be retargeted, they need to get drip emails, they need less frequent communication, and they need a long-term nurture, right? You can't call these people daily, and you have to stick with them for a long time. And on the other side of the house, you have a customer management system, where I like having a separate system for this because it's a smaller universe, it's easier to focus on. In our world, we had 700,000 or 800,000 leads in the lead management system, but only maybe 200-300 working at any given time in the customer management system, which made it much easier to stay focused. And then in a customer management system, you need more manual and more frequent communication, right? You don't want automated text messages going out to your mother-in-law during a real estate transaction. You don't want automated drip campaigns going out to your seller when they're in the middle of showings with you. That's great for the nurture phase, but it doesn't work as well once we get there. And so when we had this, we had two systems. And so while I believe Chime is the absolute best all-in-one, Chime fits somewhere in the middle of these two. Really good at lead management, really good at customer management, but still a single system. And that's what we came out with at LPT. However, to give you the opportunity to have more of like the system I built, we're going to be unveiling an additional relationship with Follow Up Boss. And so there's a couple things here. Some of you that are running big teams and big lead management, you really need both. You know, you could benefit from running your lead management inside of Chime and then running your customers once they raise their hand inside of Follow Up Boss. When we buy leads from Zillow, that's already a customer. Zillow has done the lead management job for us, right? Zillow drove them to their website, Zillow nurtured them, Zillow stayed in touch with them, and then only when they're ready to pick up the phone and reach out as a connection does that become a lead that we receive from Zillow. So those Zillow leads, they go straight into Follow Up Boss because they're already customers. But then the leads you're generating, the cold leads that need that long-term nurture, belong in Chime. And so the way this is going to work is, if you want both systems, you'll be able to buy Follow Up Boss for a highly discounted price as an add-on. Or if you want to choose between the two systems, you can have one of the two for free. So now as an LPT agent, you can either have Chime for free or Follow Up Boss for free, or for a small monthly fee, you can have both. All right? And we are working to build a bridge, a data connector in our data center, where we pull the data from Chime and then sync it up to Follow Up Boss. And we pull the data from Follow Up Boss and sync it up to Chime, so that LPT will become the Zapier, the Zap, that connects those two pieces of technology when our agents choose to embrace both. So give it up for where we're going on CRM. So again, for us, it's all about agent choice. You know, if you want a great IDX website, you want to build that lead nurturing, we stand by Chime as the absolute best solution. You know, we look at a lot of IDXs, we look at a lot of all-in-one CRMs, and I have to say, of all the solutions out there, in my mind, Chime has come the absolute closest to eliminating the need for two systems at large scale. All right, they're right there. And we're going to continue to work with them and push them to get there. These are the conversations we're having. As Nick mentioned, we've already kind of shaped some of where their product has gone. We're going to continue to push them because one day we hope possibly we can run it a single. And up to a single scale you can, right? There's a certain amount of leads you can manage where you don't need the second system. But I do believe at scale, because when I was running at scale, I couldn't have made it work on a single system. And so if you want to be able to run your business at that higher scale, we want to be able to give you that opportunity, and that's what we're unleashing here. So we're going to continue to work with Chime to make that product better and better every day and continue to put that in your hands. For those of you who don't want the IDX or don't need the IDX or don't need that type of lead nurture because most of your business is sphere of influence, past clients, you're probably going to be more comfortable in Follow Up Boss. And then for those of you who want to build massive teams and massive lead generation machines, we're going to encourage you to pay that extra monthly fee to have both. And this is, again, all about agent choice.
So another really cool release, the addition of Follow Up Boss as an option, again, options. Now, one thing I know being in the business for 14 years now is that there's no one CRM that does everything. If you've been in the business for any time frame, you know that. And so sometimes you have to find what's the best fit. And I love the fact that Follow Up Boss is something that obviously they use very heavily with RP funding. And so they know how it works. They're using it right now with some of their lead generation. And so why not offer both? Because Chime is really fantastic for lead generation, right? It has a beautiful website for attracting leads, but Follow Up Boss is that key center. If you're building your sphere of influence, you've already connected with somebody, you already have a relationship and you want to build and you want to maintain a relationship. Follow Up Boss is really great for that. And so now you have the two options. And what's really cool is if you want both, because maybe you want to use Chime as a generation, and then you want to zip or zap the lead over to Follow Up Boss, you can do that for a small fee. And so I think, once again, adding options, giving people a chance to see what works best for them, and using some of the best systems out there, it's a beautiful thing with LPT.
Yep, love it.
So one question that we get a lot about is, what is this affiliate brokerage? Now, they announced the first 2 affiliate brokerages at this event, and I don't know if we're going through both of them or not, but here's the really cool thing is that let's talk about luxury, because what we're talking about is the luxury affiliate brokerage model. Now, what we know about luxury is that people like their luxurious brand, right? There's a big deal with that. And people want to hold on to that brand because, people in the luxury side, they care about those kind of things. And so it's important. But what happens when you have a luxury brand, you have a small brokerage, you have something that you believe is important and that people are attracted to, but you don't want the headache anymore, right? You want the help of a company like LPT who has all of these options. Well, they just announced the first luxury affiliate brand, somebody who actually signed on an LPT, they're an affiliate brand. They keep the branding, they're the founder, they have the control, but they're utilizing all of LPT's tools on the back end to help them grow. And where they're able to take advantage of the revenue share model where people can come and be a part of LPT or they can be a part of their brand. It's never been done before. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm excited for you to see Robert talk more about the luxury brand and the affiliate brand and how we're growing with that option.
LPT Realty, we have our luxury collection. And that is something that is available to any agent inside of LPT Realty. And what we made the decision to do is our luxury collection designation isn't tied to agents, it's tied to listings. Okay? So when you list a home that is in the luxury price point for your area, you can opt it into our luxury collections program. It's your choice. Now, once you do that, there are now brand standards you will have to follow. There's a minimum number of photos and things. So we're on the traditional business side. And even on a luxury listing, if you choose not to opt it into LC, you can continue to market it however you like. But if you want to opt that listing into the luxury collection, there's a set of brand standards you're going to have to follow. And Benjamin Hillman, who we brought in, has worked very hard to put those together. And then as we look at that, and we look at the type of luxury marketing that is necessary, things like having that listing be featured in global magazines like the Robb Report or the New York Times. You know, a different type of digital marketing campaign, a different type of print marketing campaign, a new version of the Power Pack. These are all the tools that we want to build to arm our agents with. And so in a minute here, Benjamin's going to come out and we're going to talk more about that. And so that is an agent who wants to be part of the LPT Realty Cloud Brokerage and then have listings that are part of our luxury collection. And you can be a luxury team and you can run a luxury business inside of LPT without opting into our LC. It's an optional tool for you to have. On the flip side, though, we recognize that there are luxury agents out there who feel like they have to be part of that local boutique. All right, we actually had one that joined us and went back to her local boutique. In her mind and in her business and with her customer base, she felt like being part of a cloud brokerage was not right for her. And so we wanted to build a model where those agents could still be part of our amazing LPT Realty family. And this is what we call a luxury affiliate brokerage. And so when we create a luxury affiliate brokerage for an agent, LPT opens the brokerage, LPT's qualifying brokers qualify the brokerage, and then we build out and design the brand for that brokerage, which is then run by the founder, the agent who came to us who had the production numbers and the volume to justify the creation of that lab, becomes the founder. And our very first lab founder is Miranda Katie. She's going to be joining us out here shortly as well. Because again, as a brokerage for life, we want to be able to meet agents wherever they are, whatever their definition of success is, whatever all of your definition of success is. And so when you're out there talking to an agent about joining the LPT family who says, well, I can't run my business inside of a cloud brokerage, my customers won't accept that. Now they have the opportunity to found and run their own luxury boutique brokerage that keeps that small boutique brokerage feel, has those brand standards, has that small agent count. They can talk about their production per agent in a different way because they're not part of the cloud brokerage. It's its own brokerage owned by LPT Realty. Now the lab founder controls the brand. If they decide they want to leave, they take the brand with them. We're not trying to hold anyone's brand hostage. I know there are some other models out there that are similar to our lab that do try to hold agents' brands hostage. We're very much for agent portability, and that's not something we're interested in doing. And then finally, for us to move the ball forward, we created a way between LPT Realty and the labs that as you are recruiting and you are building a downline, that downline can now cross between a cloud brokerage and a luxury boutique brokerage for the first time ever in history. So you as an LPT agent can recruit someone who wants to start a lab, and you can earn rev share on their transactions. That person who owns the lab, yeah, this is big. This is the one-time thing. This is the person who's coming. And now that luxury boutique owner can recruit agents into LPT that are in their downline and also in your downline if you're their sponsor. So when a luxury agent has someone come to them, we're going to bring Miranda out and says, Miranda, I I'd really like to be part of Cadence Real Estate with you. And Miranda says, you know, you're a little green in the business, your average price point isn't quite there yet, you're not quite a fit for Cadence Real Estate yet, but I'd love to have you join me at our sister company, LPT Realty. And now Miranda sponsors that agent into LPT Realty, and maybe in the future, they do get their average price point up. They continue to work on their craft, and they work their way up, and they transfer over to Cadence with Miranda when the time is right. Their stock continues to vest, their downline and revenue share stays intact, and they have portability to move between those brokerages. So now as agents, we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where LPT agents can now recruit luxury agents into these boutique brokerages or a revenue share, and the luxury boutique agents have an opportunity to recruit LPT agents into the cloud brokerage and build this downline that can cross between these two brands, creating a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for growth and for us to serve more agents and have a bigger community here at LPT Realty. Okay, this is something I'm very, very excited about. You think about the universe of agents this opens up for us to have conversations with, the universe of agents who can become part of this amazing LPT family. And the amazing thing is, for these labs on the back end, it's still LPT. We're handling their accounting, we're handling their compliance. So that to the consumer, they get to be a boutique brokerage with their own dedicated brand, but on the back end, they are powered by all of the force and might and staff and technology of LPT Realty, and that has never been done before.
Guys, I hope you see how powerful something like that is, which is really, again, opening up doors and doing revolutionary things in the real estate market that just haven't been done before. You know, like AJ was saying, there's a lot of brokers out there who have these small boutique luxury brands that they have worked very, very hard to build. And that name is very important to them. And what we really learned as well is it's not even so much their desire to not part with the brand, but it's the other agents and the other boutique brokerages that are referring business, you know, across the country from California down here to Florida, where that agent who's in California that wants to refer their $8 million buyer to an agent down here in Florida, they want to know that they're going to another one of these small boutique luxury brokerages. And so when someone is branded as a larger cloud-based brokerage, the agents who are referring that business may stop. And so there are some reasons why an agent, you know, may want to take this leap. And I just think providing that option, again, welcoming everyone, regardless of where you're at in your business, regardless of where you want to take your business, it's pretty amazing. And I also thought the opportunity where we can do rev share across from the regular LPT side over to the luxury side is amazing, where again, a luxury agent can bring on an agent who is maybe a little bit newer, a little bit more green, kind of get their feet under them and then bring them over and everything stays intact. And I just think that agent choice, that agent portability, and really the option to stay at one brokerage for your entire career, regardless of where you want to take it, is really powerful.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity to make sure you guys know that if you want more information about the affiliated brokerage concept, just click below and schedule a Zoom call with us. I'm happy to explain. It's really simple. And that's what's really cool, is that things are simple here at LPT. And, you know, if you like what you're seeing, if you're enjoying these, make sure you hit subscribe too, because it helps us obviously grow, get in front of more eyes, and it helps us to continue to educate, elevate, and inspire people. And we appreciate you guys being here so much.
And so on the topic of growth, one of the things that we get asked about a lot is, when are you opening in my state? You know, we launched in Florida, and we stayed in Florida really exclusively for about the first 8 months before we started branching out into Texas and Colorado and Virginia and North Carolina and Tennessee. And that's about right now where we're fully open, and we are expanding. But I think some agents get a little bit frustrated because it's like, well, why aren't you opening in my state right now? You know, I want to join, I'm ready to go. And we understand that, and we understand that a lot of agents are anxious for LPT Realty to open up in their state so that they can join. But there is a method behind the madness. There's a reason that we're growing at the rate at which we're growing. And although AJ and I would love for us, in some respects, to open up in all 50 states tomorrow, you know, that's not going to happen. But we want to let Robert Palmer talk a little bit about his vision in terms of how he sees the company growing and how he is planning to responsibly control that growth to make sure that it's the best thing for the brokerage and the best thing for the agents.
We've smashed every record or every kind of goal I had as far as growth and what we were going to do. We're going to continue to do that as we push this brokerage forward. I'm thankful for each and every one of you who believed in us. Believed in us early. It gets a little easier to join every day. It was a harder decision at agent 10 than it was at agent 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. And by agent 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, the decision gets easier and easier. We've seen that as we look at other brokerages growth. There's a tipping point, and we're pretty close to it. And so, as I mentioned early on, our job is to make sure we grow at the right pace. And really, the only way we have to do that is state expansion. If we open up all 50 states right now, I have no doubt that we could add 30,000 agents this year. But is that the right thing for this brokerage at this point in our growth? And it's not. It's not worth creating a bunch of fires and fire drills and staffing up a bunch of people that we know isn't sustainable growth. And so really what we're focused on is how do we plot that course of the right, I'm not talking slow growth, this is going to be very fast, sustainable growth. And that's the key. And the lever we have to pull is the state expansion. So I know a lot of agents are constantly asking me, when is this state opening? When is that state opening? And just understand that as we're looking at that, there's a lot of factors that go into play. But one of the biggest factors is do we need the growth right now? We're not going to open a state just for the sake of opening a state. And the interesting thing is, what we've seen is that whenever a new state does open, the opportunity inside that state resets, pretty significantly. So while, let's say that California comes very late in the game. The California agent may be agent 30,000, but agent 1 in California still has a lot of opportunity because states are closely separated, different groups, different organizations in there. And so that's how we think about this, and that's how we're applying the growth. That's how we're controlling the growth from our side, because we don't want to get over our skis. We don't want to wake up and have too many agents and all of a sudden service levels are falling. We almost experienced that at the launch event when we almost doubled overnight, and we had to go on our pause. We don't ever want to do that again. And so it's interesting because for the first year, I was joking, like, I'm out here pushing it forward, and now I'm here pulling on the reins because I have to make sure that we grow this brokerage at the right, sustainable, rapid pace.
All right, guys, so I hope that does a little bit better job of explaining why we're opening states at the rate at which we're opening states, and why we're not just opening the entire country all at once. And so, there's, I'm sure, a lot of questions out there for agents who are in states that we're not open in yet of what can you do right now as an agent who loves the model, who wants to be a part of the model. We're just not quite in your state yet. And there's a couple different things. So one, a lot of agents ask us, AJ and I personally do a lot of one-on-one Zoom calls with agents who are interested in partnering with us here at LPT Realty. And they say, do you accept Zoom calls from agents who are in states that you're not open with yet? Absolutely. We take a lot of those. We want to connect with any agent out there who would be interested in partnering with us at any point in time in the future. We want to talk to you. We want to answer the questions that you have. And one of the biggest things that you can do is we have a wait list going in all 50 states. And so you can join that wait list. So down in the description box below the link to set up a one-on-one Zoom call with us, I'm also going to put a link that you can sign up for the wait list in your particular state. And that's important because at the corporate level, they're looking at how many agents do we have in all the different states that are on this wait list. And so as we start to make these decisions of what state do we open up next, corporate is looking at how many agents do we already have signed up who have expressed interest in joining. Now, when you join the wait list, you're not obligating yourself to join LPT Realty, but what you are doing is basically saying, when you open, I want to be notified right away so that I can pull the trigger at that point in time if I want to. So no obligation. So if you are interested, set up a Zoom call with us, get on the wait list. And the cool thing about the wait list as well is it also gives you the opportunity, once you are on that wait list and you have signed up, that there's other agents that you can introduce to the model. You can actually start attracting agents to the brokerage, even if you're not a part of the brokerage yet. So if you're on the wait list in a state that's not open, you can still do some agent attraction where you may tell some agents that you know about the model, they haven't heard of it yet, they decide they want to join, they join under you, and you can even start building your downline before you've actually started. I think that's absolutely amazing. So anyway, I hope that that does a good job of explaining the method behind the madness of why it seems like we're growing so slowly, even though we're the fastest scaling brokerage in history.
Yeah, well, and I want to give you one other option. We're going to call him Mr. J. So Mr. J reached out to us, super excited, awesome guy, has a ton of influence in the real estate world, and he was actually living in Hawaii. And he's like, "You guys, I'm ready. This sounds awesome. I'm ready to go. This is definitely a huge opportunity. What do I do?" And so it's actually interesting. He got licensed in Florida, so he went ahead, got his license in Florida so he could join, and then he just moved his family to Texas, and he is all in. And so, you know, what is your appetite for risk? What is your excitement level? Do you realize what a huge opportunity this is? You know, sometimes we have to do what it takes, but we would love to have you no matter what your scenario is, because we do believe this is an amazing opportunity, and we do look forward to meeting you as well and continue to share all the exciting news and growth of LPT Realty.
Yeah, and one other thing that just kind of sparked my memory is that we've talked to a lot of agents who are licensed in multiple states, and so we're running into this more frequently where we are open in one of the states that an agent is licensed in, but they're also licensed in an adjoining state that we're not quite open in yet. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, right? There's some bordering states that we're not open in with yet. And so, you know, you have some options there. And one of the things that we've had a number of agents do is say, like, I'm all in on this LPT thing. I want to join. The bulk of my business is in the state that you're in anyway. I'm going to join LPT Realty. And then in the other state, if you're with a brokerage that allows you to be with a different brokerage in different states, you can keep your license with one brokerage in another state. If you're at eXp Realty, just to let you know, you are required to have your license with eXp in every single state that you're licensed in. And so that's a restriction that they have against you as the agent that, you know, in this case doesn't work to your advantage. So if you're an eXp agent and you're licensed in multiple states, one of the states LPT is open in, you can join an LPT, but eXp is not going to let you keep your license with them in that other state. At that point in time, joining 100% brokerage, just a flat fee brokerage with, I hate to say, no support, is probably going to be your best option. If you do want to go ahead and get on board with LPT Realty, that's one way that you can do it.
One of the other really cool things that Robert Palmer's known for is being a technologist. He actually creates all the code, all the technology on the back end. And technology is really important in the real estate business. When we ask ourselves, how does your brokerage support you? Technology is one of them, but so is marketing. And so what happens when you take technology and marketing and you put it together? You get something called Dezzy. Dezzy is the technology on the back end that helps us create so much marketing material that it makes it really easy, less expensive, and it gives us the ability to get more free marketing tools, but also we get to get a lot of marketing tools at cost. And so what they've been doing is taking the feedback from the agents, they're adding more marketing tools. And what he spoke about is we're at the next level of Dezzy. It's kind of like Dezzy 2.0, because Dezzy's been the way that we're able to put our pictures and our information in. It's how we get our listing power pack. It's how we get our billboards. And now they're just adding more and more features. And so we'll let, again, Mr. Robert Palmer talk about Dezzy and Dezzy 2.0, which is the next stage of helping us market and sell more properties.
So we are pretty proud of our technology here at LPT Realty. We're proud of listing power tools, which is obviously what the LPT stands for. And then more recently, we're very proud of Dezzy, which is the AI system that helps make all of the amazing magazines and billboards and business cards so that we can scale as quickly as we can. Because the crazy thing is, what we learned through about our first 800 or 900 agents is the designing of the cards and the designing of the billboards and the designing of the active marketing plans is actually more expensive than the printing and the distribution. And so by having this AI system to put these high quality magazines and business cards and solutions out for our agents, we're able to give you more while still growing and being fiscally responsible inside the brokerage. And so today we're taking some of that to the next level. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what we call Dezzy 3D. Who had one of our Grand Prix billboards on their social media? Make some noise. So that was your little sneak peek at Dezzy 3D. So, you know, Dezzy basically took your billboard image, put your face in there, put the new Grand Prix look on it, and then put it in the real world. Skewed it, adjusted the aspect ratio, and dropped it into a real world billboard frame. And that is what we call Dezzy 3D. And we started building Dezzy 3D because that became the gateway to being able to offer more exciting products. Because to me, there's just something about having that real world image blended into your marketing and your print collateral. Right? So, obviously, this is what those St. Petersburg billboards look like. This is one that Dezzy created 100% for Tracy. Here's some other Dezzy images. Here's one where Dezzy takes your yard sign from inside of Connect and puts it in front of a house in the real world. Right? Here's an image where Dezzy takes our normal LPT Realty welcome billboards. And here's one where Dezzy takes the cover of your active marketing plan and 3Ds it and drops it onto an actual magazine. And so I gave these 3 images to Tracy. And by the way, we're going to be turning this technology on starting at the end of next week. So you'll be able to download a lot of other versions of this. And there's about 20 of these images that will be available in Connect. I challenged Tracy with taking those images and doing something cool with it. And this is what Tracy came up with. You see, Tracy took the 3D image of a yard sign and stuck on that great looking social media graphic. Took the 3D image of a billboard, added some text and a phone number. Took the active marketing plan. But if you look at the quality of this marketing, having that real world yard sign, having that real world billboard, having that real world magazine in your marketing increases your credibility because it makes it tangible. It's not just a flat image. The potential buyer or seller can now envision it in the real world, which makes you an agent to take it more seriously. So that's our Dezzy 3D. And this was the first step we had to take to build the next product that I'm very, very excited about. And that is what we're going to call our new agent prospecting pack. How many of you have used one of our current property prospecting packs with the big jumbo door hangers? Make some noise, let's see some hands. Yeah. So one of the, this morning I talked about one of the problems with listing power tools is people don't use the box, so we're solving that. The second problem is you have to have a listing. You know, we built the entire system to run off of listings, using listings to generate buyer leads, using listings to generate more listing leads. But what happens if you don't currently have a listing? Or what if you're an agent who doesn't have a listing yet? And so for the first time ever, LPT marketing will be available without a listing. All right? And the way we're doing this is we're using the Dezzy 3D images of our magazines. And so when you go in to order this, first you have to obviously make your magazine. The 7 Home Buyer Strategies magazine will be released as a part of this launch, as well as the active marketing plan and the 9 critical questions. Once you do that, Dezzy will then 3D the image and drop it onto the door hangers, the flyers, the postcards, the business cards, and everything else that's in that prospecting pack with a call to action of text me at this number if you'd like a copy of my active marketing plan. Or text me at this number if you'd like my 9 critical questions. And so we have both a buyer version and a seller version. So the traditional listing power pack is kind of both. It's got the listing on it. There's going to be some buyers who respond. There's going to be some nosy neighbors who respond. Now you can really focus your efforts. You can purchase a prospecting pack with either the 7 Home Buyer Strategies, which is obviously the buyer magazine, or the active marketing plan and 9 critical questions, which is our seller marketing. And our goal is to expand this library to probably 10 or 12 pieces of content that you can use as a part of this prospecting pack. The other cool thing we did is we took a couple of pieces of technology and we brought them together to make this work. So what happens when the person texts? So right now when someone texts you through Listing Power Tools, we send back a link to the active marketing plan. Here we want you to actually be able to engage in a two-way communication with them. So when they send in that text message, now inside of Connect, you can have a two-way communication, a two-way text conversation with that customer. They'll receive the text from your text line inside of Listing Power Tools, and you'll receive the messages inside of Connect. And you can also toggle on the switch to have those messages bounce to your cell phone so you can receive an instant alert whenever any messages come in from any of your leads. All right, so we're making communication easier and better. And the goal of all of this is to position yourself like an expert to more people. Right? Those active marketing plans do an amazing job. Who has witnessed the power of handing a seller or a potential client your face on a magazine? Right? Let's make some noise. Like, that's an LPT only thing. Nobody else is doing that. No one else is able to doing that out of the box. What we realized is while you can maybe give those magazines out to a handful of people, now it's like you can put door hangers out, and you can hand out flyers and business cards to 300 plus people per box, all featuring that same image of your magazine with the same credibility building. So we gave two of our agents a sneak peek at this, and we have a video showing the product and showing their initial reaction to this new agent prospecting pack. All right.
Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Indycar.
And we run Rump's LPT Realty.
And today we're going to be looking at
at the new LPT powerhouse. I'm so excited. All right, let's see it. Nice, here we are. So I'm excited to show you the new active prospecting box to help you gain more sellers in the market.
So this is the box before the box. Everybody knows the listing power tools box, but this is the box that's going to help you go out and get the business.
So this we're calling the prospecting box. So this is, like AJ mentioned, the box before the box. You're going to go out and you're going to find sellers. You're going to find listings. People are going to come home, they're going to see this huge box at their door, and this is how they're going to know to give you a call. This is huge. This is a lot bigger than a normal door hanger, obviously. So 9 critical questions on what to ask before hiring a real estate agent.
Use this box whether you have listings or haven't had listings, you're a brand new agent, you're an experienced agent, but you're just looking to capitalize or farm a neighborhood in an area. So in this box, it comes with these awesome jumbo door hangers, and they explain to the sellers the 4 pillars of how you as an LPT agent are different than other agents in marketing their property.
So I think that this is a really great opportunity for you to get in front of your seller and let them ask you really great questions. So a lot of what selling is asking great questions and making that connection with the seller, and this is going to allow you to really get down to the root of why they want to sell their home.
And get you more listings.
You don't need an active listing to start getting your material out, to letting people know that you're an active realtor, you're ready to sell their homes, you're ready to help them. So the material that you're putting out around the community in coffee shops and nail salons and spas and country clubs, it's not just targeted to one property. So you can continuously let the community know that you're an active realtor and you're actively doing things differently to help sellers sell their home and get them top value.
So we've been using the LPT tools for almost a year now, and they really helped us succeed in our business. This is just another great tool that I think we'll be able to utilize to get more business and to keep growing.
So to Robert Palmer and all of the LPT family, definitely make sure you're utilizing this box and have an awesome year.
And we thank you.
And we love spending money on marketing. No doubt about that. But it works. I'll tell you, it works. It works. All right, so that's our prospector pack. Now, if you're going to be putting out all of these prospector packs with the magazines on them, we need to give you a better way to buy magazines. And so we are automating our new marketing packs, which is a way for you to buy the magazines, the active marketing plans, the 9 critical questions, and the 7 marketing strategies in bulk. And so there'll be 3 different sizes of these that you can buy, anywhere from like a 40 or 50 piece kit all the way to like a 150 piece kit of magazines, so that we can cut down on some shipping and make that easier to fulfill. That's been more of a manual process right now. So we're trying to make things easier, we're continuing to push forward. Some of this was not in the cards when we first launched, and we've had to take the last year and try to catch up. And so when you order that, you'll see a preview for all 3 items. Like this particular pack we're previewing had 2 magazines and a pack of business cards in it. And so you can see all 3 at once, so you can approve them, order them, and they'll be shipped out to you quickly together from the print shop. All right, so that's our prospecting pack and our new magazine package ordering system. The next big piece, and Caitlin, our social media queen, is going to be excited about this one, is Dezzy Social. All right, so I showed you at the beginning some images that Tracy made herself using those Dezzy 3D images. Where we want to go is where Dezzy can make all of those social media graphics for you at the right time in a transaction, at the right time in your career, at the right time in joining the brokerage. And so because social media has become so prolific in how we communicate with each other, we wanted to make sure we had an instant, easy way to get you the images that you can share. And so one of those big we see right now is announcing joining. And so the idea here is when a new agent joins, Dezzy will create images saying, I've joined LPT Realty. Those images will look something like this. Yeah. These will automatically appear inside of Connect. The other cooler thing is the agent can hit, as long as they're not opting out, they can have it to where any other agent in the brokerage can also see those images and share them on their behalf. Yes. So you can opt out of that, but if I'm a new agent who joined, I'm going to see the graphic that says, I've joined LPT Realty. Everyone else in the brokerage will have access to a graphic that says, welcome Robert Palmer to LPT Realty with my face on it. Yes. All right, now as an agent, I can opt out of that if I don't want other people sharing my faces and my picture, but we think most agents will leave it turned on, and then other agents can then see that and share that announcement. so we can all maximize the social benefit of a new agent joining. And when we originally talked about that, we thought, yeah, this is big. Originally we thought about doing that, hey, maybe we'll just show it to their direct sponsor, maybe we'll just show it to their team. So, let's just show it to everybody. Why not let everybody in this brokerage promote anyone else in the brokerage they want to? And so it'll almost be like a directory where you can go through and search any new agent who's joined, and if they're opted in, you can see their images and share them on their behalf, so that you can show other people who's joining LPT Realty. So after an agent joins, we're going to give them these images. We're also going to give them social media profile pictures. They can be treated with the I've joined LPT Realty treatment, a custom background, a cover photo for Facebook. Dezzy's going to be able to build all of these. Again, this technology is not quite ready. This is probably a 2 or 3 month away release, but I wanted to share it with you guys today. The next big milestone is when an agent gets their first property under contract, Dezzy will automatically create these images. Okay? Dezzy will go out and find a map and drop a pin on where that property is located. Right? Dezzy will pull photos of that property if we can get them, because from MLS or from our own database. Or as an agent, you can upload those photos and Dezzy will use them throughout the process. Again, when an agent has a closing, Dezzy's going to show up with some more images. All right, we know if we put these images in front of you at the right time throughout the process, the right time throughout the transaction, you will share them. And now your sphere will see that you're doing transactions. Oh, last week they were under contract on one. Now they're closing one. Wow, this person is busy. This is great. I'm going to call him for my real estate needs. All right, other things, when an agent caps, congratulations on capping graphics will be automatically generated inside of Dezzy. Again, made available to the agent and the other agent in the brokerage who wants to promote that agent as well. When an agent achieves one of our badges, all right, later tonight we're going to recognize our first 3 black badge agents. A big deal. So whenever an agent achieves a badge inside of the system, Dezzy will create an image for them to share that, or for other agents to share it, congratulating them. Personal stats or market stats. Right, this is the cool one we're playing with. Let's say Dezzy looks at your volume and says, wow, you were the #1 agent in 32818 last month. Dezzy will make you a nice image congratulating you on being the #1 agent in that zip code. Or the #1 agent for lakefront properties. Or the #1 agent for a county. Or the #1 agent for a certain price point. The list goes on and on and on. And the AI will be able to mine the data inside of Connect and know when you've done something that you may not even realize it's worth being congratulated for. We'll also be able to pull in market stats, again, by zip code, by county, by different areas. We really want to make Dezzy an all-in-one, data-driven social media hub. All right? Just sold images. If an agent wants to recruit, there'll be recruiting images they can share. All right? And then during special events like Grand Prix, there will be amazing things like our Grand Prix billboards. All right? So that is the future of Dezzy Social. And we want your feedback on this. As we grow, just from the few people we've shown this to, we need open house. We need whatever. If you come up with it, we will build it. We can build Dezzy in a way that whatever trigger points we can watch inside of the transaction, we can build a comprehensive social media journey to help guide your sphere through as you do transactions and hit milestones inside the brokerage. All right? And then one other exciting thing, this is a sneak peek, this is super rough, but again, I want you thinking about what the future can hold. We're teaching Dezzy how to edit video. All we did was give Dezzy an ID number of a listing and listing power tools. Dezzy pulled the 3 key photos that were featured on the power pack, highlighted them longer, and then mixed all the other pictures from the gallery into that quick high energy cut. The idea is we want to tease it. You know, I see too many videos on social media with these slow pans, and if you give the consumer all the time looking at the photos there, why would they ever click through to your website? Why would they ever go to the next step? So Dezzy's approach is going to be just that, a teaser reel for the property, because we want the customer to click at the end. We don't want to put the price on there. We want them to click to find out what the price is. We want to get a chance of getting them to your website for some lead capture and just using that video as a teaser reel. Other ideas we've had is as a new hot song, you know, goes viral on TikTok or with Instagram Reels, that Dezzy builds a video to the beat of that song for you, so you can upload it, drop in the music, and have broader reach on your list.
Guys, whether you're into technology or not, I hope you found a lot of that information that Robert shared with all these tools and resources that we have available to us very intriguing. You know, some of the things that he went over, to me, are going to be absolute game changers for a lot of agents, because, you know, one of the things with the Dezzy Social, where Dezzy is going to go in, we have artificial intelligence that's going to do data mining for you and figure out if you were the top selling agent in a certain area, or you had the highest, fewest days on market, highest sales price, whatever it is, all these superlatives that are great for you as an agent that you probably didn't even know yourself. We have a powerful AI system on the background that's going to go in, mine that data, make a social media post for you at the right time, at the right place for you to share. You know, I don't know about you, but we all get busy, right? And so there's a lot of, you know, the good intentions are filled in our day, but at the end of the day, you have to focus on what are the best income producing activities that you can focus on. And a lot of the other little things that we know we should be doing, right? Spending some time in Canva to generate all these social media posts are things that we know we probably should be doing, or at least should be paying someone else to do, but we just don't have time to do it. And the fact that all of this is available to every single agent for free at LPT Realty, I think is kind of crazy. And I just really think that what you're going to see over the coming, 12, 24 months is that the agents at our brokerage are really going to start to stand out in their marketplaces, because all of these resources are being provided to them without any additional work, any additional time, and any additional money. And it's going to be so easy for everyone to do that, frankly, there's really going to be no longer an excuse for why you can't do a lot of these things. And so it's going to force you to level up your game. And again, one of the cool things we have here at LPT Realty as well is this kind of competitive camaraderie, where we have all these wonderful tools and resources available to us. If you're not using them, other agents at the brokerage are going to make you feel a little bit guilty for not. So there is some peer pressure into utilizing a lot of these tools as well. So I think it's absolutely incredible.
I like that you use the word superlative. Superlatives.
I
can't even say it. I love it. You know what else I just realized is, because I know a company who generates Canva, who does Canva for people. It's big business in real estate. A lot of agents are paying money to these other companies. Well, guess what? I know that some of these big companies have been paying millions of dollars to acquire these companies in order to come work. We're doing it in-house. Once again, how do we create the most valuable real estate company, keep costs low, put more money in your pocket, and build the wealth of the company? This is just one more way that they're doing it. And I still love the word superlative. You guys, awesome stuff.
So with a lot of the free marketing that we have here, it does come up of like, how can you guys afford to do this? Because it seems like it would be really expensive to keep giving agents free listing power packs and all of the different marketing tools that we offer here at LPT Realty. It seems cost prohibitive. So I want to let Robert talk about his vision and how he views investing more into his agents up front as a great retention tool, which in the end helps us save more money.
We're very focused on retention. And what I have found is, if you give someone a free sample power pack and business cards and some yard signs and these active marketing plans, they're more likely to stay, right? If you've got this beautiful magazine for a listing appointment and this beautiful sample pack and it's all branded to LPT, if you leave, you have to throw that stuff in the trash, right? And while that's not the only reason someone will stay with a brokerage, it only has to make a very, very small change in retention rate to cover the costs. It's very expensive to lose an agent. It's very expensive to bring a new agent and onboard them. We want to keep them at that point. And so the idea was, well, why not just spend a little bit more? Again, we're blessed. We own the print shop. We own the technology. We're not out there paying retail pricing for this stuff. But if we invest a little more and it makes a small change in our retention rate, the return on investment is there. And so that's when, again, I can see people think, oh, it's too good to be true. They can't keep doing that forever. They can't keep giving agents all this free stuff up front because agents do leave. But if a few agents extra stay because of that little bit of extra investment, it's better for the company. The math works out, the numbers work out. So that's important. And the second piece that I love, and this happened organically, is the biggest problem with listing power tools is if you don't use it, if you don't put the stuff out of the box, it doesn't work. And we faced this for years as the product. We would print these beautiful boxes, we would ship them to agents, they would have shown it to the seller on a listing appointment, and then they would never use it. The sign writer would go out because the seller would notice if it hadn't, but the other items wouldn't get used. And we can tell, because we can see how many text messages are coming in per box. And we can tell when someone is not using the box. And so this empty the box culture that organically has come about on social media from within the brokerage actually solves the biggest weakness of listing power tools, which is you have to empty the box. And I really love seeing that come about organically and agents challenging each other to empty that box. So that's been really cool to see.
So Mark, this just sounds way too good to be true.
It's funny you say that, AJ. That's actually something that we hear a lot. We've heard that a lot out there in the real estate industry. We hear it from agents that we hop on Zoom calls with where they say, guys, I've looked into the model. I've done all my research. Everything sounds amazing. So what's the catch? It sounds too good to be true. And so we're going to let Mr. Robert Palmer himself answer that question for you.
What do you say to people that say, well, it just sounds too good to be true?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I kind of challenge them to say, well, what sounds too good to be true? You know, which part is it? Because I get maybe if you put it all together, and maybe that's kind of what they're thinking. But like, let's break it down into individual pieces. What piece sounds too good to be true? We are not the cheapest 100% commission brokerage, right? There are brokerages out there that charge less than we do, you know, per file. So is that too good to be true? Well, there's others making it work. You know, oh, well, there's other companies that pay out rev share. And, you know, they potentially pay out more than we do because they don't have this business builder model where people are not taking their rev share. You know, and you say, well, maybe it's listing power tools. Okay, well, you know, we built that technology. We own the print shop. We own that technology. It actually saves us money from a compliance standpoint because instead of having to pay someone to review marketing collateral you're making yourselves to promote your open houses and your listings, we're giving you pre-approved collateral that we know meets state guidelines. So, you know, I think every piece of it there is an answer, right? None of it's too good to be true if we really break it down and be logical with it. But the first thing I usually try to get them to tell me is, well, what part of it, you know, which part in particular sounds too good to be true to you? And a lot of times they don't have it. You know, so, well, all of it. Well, okay, but if it's all of it, there has to be at least one. You know, which one seems the most unbelievable? You know, or which one seems the least likely to be true? Or which one seems the most too good to not be true? And as you start to challenge them to think that way, they realize that, well, maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm just repeating something I heard from someone else. And maybe that someone else had an ulterior motive of telling me that this was too good to be true, or telling me that this couldn't work, or telling me that this wasn't going to be what I thought it was going to be. Because I think, look, that is kind of the dirty side of the recruiting models in our industry, is there's a lack of transparency and honesty, right? And when you are benefiting financially from bringing agents in, you are now incentivized to not be as transparent about, you know, things because you need to protect your income stream. And that's being used against us right now. My hope is that we do a more responsible job and we're the dominant brokerage of not letting that happen to our agents.
All right, guys. So that's it. I mean, that's not absolutely it, but you know, that's our videos for today. That was a huge part of our first convention ever. We had 1,200 agents there. It was absolutely amazing. We were in the middle of the Grand Prix in St. Pete. Super cool experience. But I was just amazed at how many things they launched. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like in a year from now. But I hope that you enjoyed it. And I want to make sure that you guys know that we love you, we appreciate you, and we want to sponsor you. What do you think?
Yeah, guys, it was an amazing opportunity to not only get introduced to all the new things that are coming out in LPT Realty, but to be surrounded by the LPT Realty family. You know, we had over we're 3,200 agents. We have 1,200 of those agents at this event. And there's a number of agents that I know that we have sponsored that weren't able to come for some family reasons and stuff like that. So more would have been there. And, you know, we talk a lot about vision and culture and why that's so important, right? Vision is really what's getting rolled down from the leadership, from Robert Palmer, from the executive team. But culture is what we build as the agents. And when you can get all the agents on board with the culture that supports the vision, that's when you can do really, really amazing things. And that's what we're seeing here at LPT Realty, is not only a phenomenal vision, but agents who are excited, who can't believe the opportunity that we have ahead of us and the ability to be a part of this. We would love for you to be a part of it. If this sounds like a model that you're interested in, you want to learn more and you want to partner with us and have us sponsor you here at LPT Realty, click down on the link below. There's a way for you to set up a private one-on-one Zoom call with us. We would love to get to know more about you, what you're doing in your business, see if we can help you and bring you into this amazing model that we have found. It's been an absolute blessing, and we're so excited to bring you this again next year after we do this. We'll see if we can fit in a Mahaffey Theater next year with the size of that theater and the number of agents we'll likely have. We'll see. But I'm excited for the future. I appreciate you guys watching. I know this was a long one, but really appreciate you sticking along. And thanks for watching.
Thank you guys so much. Look forward to meeting you soon.
We'll see you next time.